as you can tell, we are clearly so incredibly excited about 2025. And I think 2025, one of the main goals is Loa's going to give me a better nickname. That's going to be on the 2025 goal list. But of course, as she mentioned, we've got two wonderful podcasters in the house, and I'm so excited to chat to Stephanie and Jackie. They're going to be diving into, what is it about inspiring the world of women and moms in business? And this powerhouse duo is going to tell us exactly what goes behind the scenes when it comes to the shift. But I think enough from me. Welcome to the studio. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
We are so excited to be here. Thank you for having us.
Listen, I'm very excited that we're matching.
We are totes matching. It's a vibe. This is how you know things are meant to be.
And it wasn't planned.
It wasn't
just,
planned.
I mean,
It was definitely planned.
Oh, sorry. Yes, we were designed.
So I think, the first question is, for anybody that has never heard of the podcast before, what's the inspiration behind it? What's the aim? When you guys were sitting and having a chat one day, how did it come about?
So, I mean, it literally was between meetings. So we worked together, and we've always wanted to start a podcast. I mean, we like to talk.
Yeah.
This is the thing. We like to talk. So we were like, we have a lot to say. Like, why don't we start a podcast? And then we were like, what would we call it? We're like, okay, cool, the shift. And we're like, cool, what will we talk about? And we literally, like between meetings, we bashed out 10 topics, figured out who was going to film it, took a room in Jackie's house and made it a set. And we were just like, cool, let's do the thing. And here we are.
I mean, if you were ever to picture what would go into, a woman putting a podcast together, that's exactly the kind of thing that you would picture. Women doing their everyday job, deciding to just launch a podcast in between coffee breaks. I mean, that's such a beautiful first chapter. I absolutely love that for you guys. I know the podcast is relatively new, and I know and believe that you guys mentioned flow a lot. Now, what is flow all about?
So it's really, there's a lot of intention about in the shift. There really is. It's about, speaking to women, and Steph and I don't ever think that we're experts in many things, but we're women, and we want to share this who we are, and if that affects someone and influences them and helps them, yay for us and yay for them. And so with regards to flow, it really is about just following our intuition as women, and I think that for the longest time we've not been allowed to do that. It's been a man's world, and we love the men, but also it's time for them to sit down a little bit, and it really is this idea of not just doing and pushing and being abrasive and aggressive, but really leaning into this idea of flow and feminine energy and allowing things to just, leaning into the unfolding of how business happens.
I love that you mentioned that intuition, because it seems, silly or cheesy, but intuition is so needed, and it's something that I think, especially women, need to acknowledge more. We're so intuitive, and sometimes you chat to others and you're like, oh, this is an us thing. This is something that really it sits so, and you end up being sort of conditioned by it. Now, when it comes to any unique challenges that you're helping listeners out there, and probably people in the office as well, helping people overcome their challenges, how do you think the shift is sort of helping or hoping to people to get them to come over those challenges?
Well, I think it just creates a space for us to have the conversation, because I think, when you actually are able to have the conversation, you realize that you're not alone, and you realize that we're all figuring this stuff out, and I think that is really helpful, because sometimes you think, okay, I'm alone in this, I don't know what to do. Like, am I the only person in the world that's actually experiencing this thing? And then you kind of go, oh, actually, there's someone else that's doing it, and it kind of eases the load and eases the mental load. So yeah, I think creating that space is really what we want to do. Is it space, guys? We're navigating this shift together, essentially.
I love that you say we're navigating this shift together. I mean, I see the play on words. I see what you did there. When it comes to, inspiring women and speaking about challenges and all of those things, what are some key practices that you guys think women can put in place in their everyday life?
Love this. I really love this question, because also with regards to the shift, I think one of the most important things and the fundamental thing of the shift is this idea that we can trailblaze change. For the longest time, we've said, the world is falling apart. There's all these bad things. There's all of this. But actually, we're so lucky to be alive at this time. There's so many things that we can do to change. And that's what we want to do, is we want to empower women to be able to make the changes that we crave and the changes that make the world a better place. And some of the things we've done is really just, simple things like intention. Simple things like quiet time, which is, I mean, whenever as a mom and business owner do we speak about quiet time, because who gets that, right? No one gets that.
Sorry, what is quiet time?
Well, exactly. But there's so much magic that happens when we actually are intentional about carving out some quiet time for ourselves. And a lot of the moms and friends and you know, people we've been chatting to will always say, how do you do this? But you have to start somewhere, because it really is in that you can, you know, figure out who you are again, figure out what you need and want, and then, you know, step into creating that and allowing that to unfold.
I absolutely love that. And I know that you guys have probably got lots of aspirations, lots of inspirations when it comes to guests on the podcast. What's on the short list? What's on the long list? What are the hopes for guests that you have for 2025?
So we can't really divulge who it is.
Okay.
But,
I respect.
However, I mean, when it comes to guests, I mean, it's women that have something to say. You know, I think that we're also trying to break that barrier of, you know, there's certain people that are really special that get to talk and get to, you know, speak their mind. Why can't everyone speak their mind? You know, everyone is special in their own way, and everyone has got something to say, and I think it's the women that have something to say. It will be the incredible businesswoman, it will be the marketing director of whoever, but it will also be, you know, the mom that's decided to be a stay-at-home mom and wear those many hats and, you know, do that job as it is. And I think when we were chatting before, you were saying a mom is someone who, you know, is doing 5 million jobs. So it's any woman who has something to say. You know, we're shedding light on you know, the normals.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. You know what, it makes me think of something that I saw online many, many years ago. It was basically that they did a study on women in the corporate world. And they noticed women have a habit of, when they've done all the work, they'll still say, we saw that da-da-da-da-da, or we predicted, whereas men tend to say, I saw, I predicted, when it is them individually. And so I love that you guys are sort of making that platform, you're creating that platform to allow women to say, I. You know, like, I did this, and I get to do that, and I'm so excited to see where you guys are gonna go. I'm sure you've done so much from November to now. And so, you know what, 2025 has just started. For anybody that's just joined in, of course, we are chatting to the two lovely women behind the podcast, The Shift. We've only got a few more seconds, but for anybody that may be really excited and they want to find out how do they get involved, how can they listen, how can they reach out to you guys, or where can they hear the podcast?
So Spotify, YouTube, they can listen to the podcast, and they can reach out to us on social media. It's Feel Good & Co. is where we put all things podcasts and all things business. However, we've obviously also got our individual pages, which you'll find on that page as well.
Guys, thank you so much for being such exciting first guests for our live show today. And I'm sure we're going to hear so much more from you guys. So, of course, it's hot outside, but it's also hot inside. We're bringing you guys the best of the best. Thank you so much to the two of you. Right now, my girl Lua's on the other side. Let's see what's happening.